All right. I think that'll be good. So, hey everyone, this is Kevin the Apptrepreneur. This is a little live stream test, if you will, with the new camera. Well, the new replacement phone, if you will. If this is your first time here, please consider subscribing below and ringing that bell. It really helps with the algorithm, and we upload almost every single day. Next few days are going to be a little wonky because I've got major dental work I need to do today. So, actually, I was so up late worrying and making a couple future videos just in case I'm in pain for the next couple days. But I kind of wanted to do this video personally because people were a little disappointed I didn't talk about what's happening a lot sooner. And I didn't talk about it because I was a little afraid to talk about this one because, I've got like a reputation for supporting the drivers and saying, you need to stand up for your rights, you need to let people know how you feel, and I still fully believe that. But it was brought to my attention a couple weeks ago that there would be another protest. Now, I have joined many of these protests. Particularly when they're at airports or in public places. I'm totally for peaceful protests. And they said this one was going to be the next step. This was going to be Uber drivers going to the houses of two major Uber shareholders slash founders. Garrett Camp, I believe his name was, and Burley. I forgot what his first name is. Sorry, I don't really. My computer's not been working very well this morning. I tried to have it all set up. Oh well, now it's worked. Now it's coming up. So, but yeah. So for those of you who are not aware, like Garrett Camp, if I'm getting that name correctly, and if I'm not, you can obviously let me know in the live chat. That's one of the few advantages to having a live chat. He was one of the co-founders of Uber, one of the very first three. And Gurley is one of, that's an interesting name. I know last name Gurley, right? He was actually a key member of ousting Travis Kalanick from Uber. In fact, if you read the Super Pump book, which again you probably should do at some point because we will be discussing it on this channel very, very soon, and probably 4 individual episodes because there's like 4 parts. Welcome to everyone who's commenting and joining us, by the way. He got Travis Kalanick ousted at great personal cost. He gave up like a lot of power on the board and a stake in his company just to get rid of Kalanick. So there is a certain amount of sense to protesting or airing your concerns, I should say, to these two individuals. Garrett Camp, of the 3 individuals, Kalanick, Graves, and Camp, he seems the most reasonable, like most open to listening to the concerns of the public. And Burley actually has put his did put his career at Uber on the line to, get rid of their CEO and founder, or co-founder, I should say, because Kalanick was, really a co-founder. So it kind of makes sense to air your grievances towards them. But here's the thing. As much as I am for protesting and peaceful protesting and airing your concerns, I've got some very, very mixed feelings about doing it at their homes. Now, some people feel differently about this. Obviously, the drivers feel like this is worth doing. That's why they're doing it. And you had Bernie Sanders and Elizabeth Warren not hesitating to do this because, the election cycle, they want to get your votes, and so it's like, of course, you're going to support Joe Biden, I should add, because he's a little bit more moderate. Was a little bit more measured. He reluctantly supported the the protesting in front of the houses, but didn't seem too happy about it. And I'm going to kind of be in his shoes a little bit on this one. Because I think as protesters, there's some things you really shouldn't do. Some for practical reasons, some for moral reasons. Like, I'm okay with, like, for example, protesting at the airport. I think that's fine. Public place, that's where they run their business. You want to let people know that this is a problem and it gets their attention. Totally fine with that. Not so much okay with shutting down a bridge, because once you inconvenience people's day, they're not on your side anymore. They don't see that you're trying to fight for a living wage or anything like that. They just see that you've shut down the bridge and you've caused an already bad traffic situation to get significantly worse. So that's one example. Now, I am okay with drivers protesting in front of Uber's headquarters. Sorry, my head itches all of a sudden. And yeah, I am a little tired. I was up late worrying about something. That's perfectly fine. You can protest in front of their headquarters. You can protest at Wall Street. I totally agree with all of this. Those are public buildings, as long as you don't hurt anyone and it's peaceful. Hey, knock yourselves out. Once people say, I'm going to be protesting at this person's home, I kind of think that is a poor look. That's got a poor look, and it's not I don't think that's very helpful to the cause. And let me explain why. How many stories have you read, particularly about this particular election cycle, where people have shown up at Sarah Huckabee Sanders' house to protest her defending of Donald Trump? Now, here's the thing. Whatever you think about her, whatever you think about him, that's kind of besides the point. When protesters started showing up at her house, and particularly started like harassing her kids, who, can't choose what their parents do for a living. Notice how how the public kind of soured on those protests. It's like, hey, that's their home. Like, you don't need to go to their home. Like, where their kids are, where their friends visit. I mean, it's kind of taken your protest to a whole new level where it's like, you're going to intrude on their personal lives just to, I don't know, make a point. I mean, the way that I see it is, it's like, look, let's say you go to, and this is, I know, a small example, but you're not happy with the customer service you get at Target. Now, you can go to the management, you can write to corporate, you can call corporate, you could bring it up at the shareholders meeting if you own stock in the Target. That's all perfectly valid to complain about this bad customer experience that you got at Target. But once you figure out where that person lives and you go to their house to complain about that to them, that's where it starts getting creepy. We all agree that that's creepy. There are so many ways you can make your voice known about your bad customer experience at Target without hunting down that person's address and going to their personal house. I think we all agree that's creepy, it crosses a line, and it's very unsettling. Now, my question is, why isn't this the mindset when it comes to these two men? Yes, they've made millions of dollars on Uber, and yes, I know they've done it off the backs of drivers and stealing their wages. I totally admit that. Sorry, my head is really itchy for some reason. I understand that these are not, I'm not going to say they're evil men, but they have done very wrong things to us, and we definitely want to lash out at people who wronged us. But here's a funny thing. Just because you're a millionaire doesn't mean you live in this place with a bunch of security, it doesn't mean that there's like a little gate you're going to be protesting at while there's like this huge house in the background. That doesn't mean that that's what it's going to be. In fact, a lot of people who you would consider famous, like particularly, let's go back to Sarah Huckabee Sanders, when videos started leaking about her, and even like some people go into like Nancy Pelosi's house because of the whole impeachment things going on, and you see their houses, they're really just they're regular homes. There's a front door, you could walk up, you can knock on it. There's no security there. I mean, they make good money, not enough to have 24-hour security all the time, or sometimes they feel like they shouldn't need to, which hey, I understand. It's your home. I mean, you're not expecting like a bunch of protesters to come to your home. So, so first of all, their personal homes are not always set up for protesters to be, which is the first thing. But then the other thing is like, again, this is intrusive. It's their personal house. This is where their kids are potentially going to be. Maybe their grandkids. Maybe they've got their elders living with them because they can take care of them. And their elders, like, they don't really know what they do at work. They know that they go to work, but, they don't know much else about it. And you're going to be going into that. I mean, you're going to be bringing your problems with the company to them. Now, again, I understand they make some of the choices that company goes off of. I totally understand why you're upset with them. But I look at the situation and I kind of worry to a certain extent. What does this say about us? I mean, now I know what it says. It shows how angry we are. And trust me, I'm still angry with you guys. I mean, if I wasn't angry, I wouldn't be doing this at all. I would have completely dropped the Uber and Lyft topic a long time ago, especially since I haven't driven in a while. But I still care, and I still look at these people who are, I mean, I wish they would stop. I don't know why most of them don't stop, but for whatever reason, they feel stuck doing this, and Uber and Lyft kind of know that they've got their thumb on them, so they continue doing it. But I think we need to be a little bit careful about, as they say, stooping to their level. I mean, trust me, as someone who has stooped to someone else's level to try to argue with them, like gotten in the mud, not worth it, because you don't win that battle. Because the only thing that proves is like you're as immature as they are. And there are so many ways to protest. This personally does not seem like one of them. Now, here's another effective way to protest. In fact, this is kind of what I wish would have happened more, because I don't know if anyone realized it, but today is the day that Uber share lockup unfreezes. What that means is all of those investors that invested in Uber early, they couldn't actually sell their Uber stock until after so long. So those early investors were watching the stock go from like $45. By the way, they are how should I put this? They were hoping for like $120 billion valuation for the company. Didn't get it. And they've been watching the value of that stock slide and slide and slide. I mean, could you imagine what if a bunch of Uber drivers who had bought stock from the company, what if they all started selling today? They make the stock go lower. It got as low as $26.02 at one point today. Like, really. You getting really close to $20. And on the day that all these people who invested early has seen their earnings really get cut in half. They were expecting way more than what they were going to be getting. And, well, now there's a question, are they going to sell today? I think a lot of them are going to sell. I think a lot of them are seeing that it's heading in a bad direction, and they're going to They're going to cut their losses. They're going to sell. They're going to get out as soon as possible. And that will make the stock feel worse. That's how you really hurt Uber. You hit them on the stock. You protest their company. You protest Wall Street. You get the investors to feel cold feet about what's going on. You get the investors to feel like the business model is not sustainable. You point out that the driverless cars aren't here. This is the workforce. We're the people that drive the company forward. And, well, obviously the people who drive the company forward aren't happy. So, and of course, there's the other irony, especially now that the stock is getting cheaper. If like all these Uber drivers out there who really want to do this long term, if they all 600,000 of them bought 10 to 20 shares of Uber stock each, then the drivers would have a significant say in the company. You could protest that way. I know you're putting money in the millionaires' pockets at that point. Catch-22. But I think going to someone's house to protest is just a step too far. Now, granted, that's not the reason I'm not going to be at the protests. Frankly, they're not close to me. If I was near the protests, granted, I'd probably hold off on making this video first because I'd want to go in and ask people questions before they know my opinion on it. And by the way, I do have friends and people that I respect who are joining these protests. This is nothing. I'm not saying anything about any of them. Again, if you feel you want to do this, that is totally your choice. I just feel like, we need to be better than that. We need to do better. It's, it's kind of like, I won't name any names, but it's kind of like a group of people saying that one person is doing something wrong and they shouldn't do it, but then when they get the opportunity to do it, they do it, and it's like, well, it's okay that we do it because they're so despicable. They are so despicable that we have the right to do that. Really, you've just proven that you're no better than them in many regards. So that's my personal opinion. This one's, I'm kind of curious to see what the comments are going to be in this one. I'm reading the comments on the live chat right now, which, I have to leave in like a few minutes, so that's why there's not going to be much interaction. Although, thank you for joining and watching. But I think this isn't going to help the drivers do what I think. They're just going to see that people are unstable. And by the way, this is a situation, I'm just going to throw this in there, where they can't cave on this one. They really can't. Because here's the thing. If they show that going to their house actually gets them to change their mind on a few things, then protesters are going to show up at their house again whenever they're not happy with something. So they're not going to cave on anything. If anything, they're going to call the police, and the SWAT team will come and probably remove you from the premises. That's, I think, what's way more likely to happen, because, again, that's their personal home. You are invading in a very real sense. You are disturbing. They have every right to do that. You want to protest at their company, Wall Street, perfectly fine. My opinion, stay away from their personal lives as much as possible. Do not cross that line. Just don't do it. I think long term you have way more to lose than to gain by doing it. But that's my personal opinion. I'm sure some people will have different opinions, and I do want to hear what those opinions are. So for those of you who are watching this after the live stream, or heck, even if you're watching it during the live stream, you can quickly throw in comments if you want. I recommend putting it below. Well, what do you think? Comment below, like, favorite, share, subscribe. If you enjoyed these videos, consider becoming a Patreon member. It's totally optional, of course, but even as little as $1 a month goes a long way, helping the channel run smoothly. And I'm going to think about another prize other than the access to the exclusive blog. I haven't been updating that often, so I'm going to think about something else I can do for my supporters at this point. If you want more content from me, check out my other YouTube channels, Kevin T. Rodriguez, Apptrepreneur Vlogs, and Autograph Hound. If gas prices are getting just a little down, check out the Get Upside app below. It's totally free, but you get cash back on every gas purchase. And if you want to talk to me or other fellow riders out there or drivers, check it out at the Apptrepreneur Hangouts on Facebook. And as always, flame responsibly, and yeah, see you tomorrow. Have a good one.